Good. Good. So my name is Mavis Hazel, and as a medical scholar, I conducted research during the Summer Research Institute, and I worked on the topic social anxiety and online class. My mentor, Dr. Osan Popo, Dr. Louise and the McNair program, Dr. Ned, and Dr. Rachel. Thank you all for the encouragement and the support you gave me. A lot of things have happened, especially during the COVID-19, when we had to change the face of education from in-class to online. And that actually prompted me to deliberate on taking this research. And the topic is the effect of social anxiety on students' performance in Synchronous, using web camera online learning. When I say Synchronous, I mean using online video conferencing tools like Zoom with the video on. I'm trying to get to this slide. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, my topic is the effect of social anxiety on student performance in Synchronous using web camera online learning. The overview, we know that as psychologists, we actually involve ourselves with matters of anxiety, depression. We want to know how people behave differently, and we want to know the influences these the things have on society and mental health. Like I told you before, the global pandemic, it changed the face of classroom learning into online, or people say virtual. And so my research was actually interested in finding out whether enrolling in online class, like we've done for the past year and over, causes social anxiety and whether it affects students' performance. So my focus of studies is the effect of social anxiety on synchronized online learning and student performance. When we talk of social anxiety, actually what is social anxiety? According to Larry et al. 1995, social anxiety is overwhelming pressure we feel when we are within a crowd, like as we are here. When you are asked to answer a question, you start shaking and you start trembling and you are experiencing social anxiety right there. So what is actually the rationale of the study that I carried out? According to Weller 2012, students feel discomfort and experience social anxiety when others, just like I said, do not participate in online discussion. So when they are asked to explain something and they feel like all eyes are on them, and right there they are feeling social anxiety. So what is actually the effect of social anxiety? I like coaching a lot, so according to Actel et al. 1996, the use of online learning tools such as Zoom, as I said before, actually causes social anxiety. So someone has already carried an experiment, a research, and found out that Zoom and the use of video conferencing tools actually causes social anxiety. And now I want to explain the symptom of social anxiety, which are the problem for mental health. So what is the problem now? Social anxiety leads to suicide, and then it makes people vulnerable. According to Beckner et al. 2016, people feel alienated and they want to commit suicide. alone. Even though we are in our separate homes, you still feel alone. You are not able to go out in the opening, and people also go out in the open to socialize, and they still see people and they feel social anxiety. So it's kind of two-edged sword. You cut here and you cut there. And then what is the benefit of this research in actual sense? It's going to benefit college students who enroll in live synchronous class, and it's also going to help professors to consider social anxiety and the difficulties it causes for their students. So what am I actually anticipating? What is the result? Why am I doing all this? I want to study this to analyze it. Social anxiety, which results from online live synchronous learning, affects students' performance. So my population of interest, college students, total of 58 students to the survey. I used the snowball. I first sent it to the McNeil group me, which also be sent to other people for 14 days. What this was used. The independent variable was level of social anxiety, and then that was kind of indicated by how participants regulate the emotions, and that was measured of their social anxiety levels. So we kind of put questions in the quadrants like, I can feel conspicuous standing in the line. So if you answer 1, it means that it has a particular characteristic of you. If you answer 2 or 5, it has a particular characteristic of you. So rating questionnaire on participant emotion, lives and regulation, the 5-point scale. The dependent variable here is students' performance, which is operationalized by students reporting their grades, A, B, C, D, that pass. And then of course the experimental research design was used, and then the rationale behind that was because I wanted to determine the cause and effect of these two variables with that randomization. You know that if you want to do research using the COSI, it means that you really want to do cause and effect, but you don't want to go through randomization. And also because the variables were continuous. And so what are actually the benefits of the COSI experimental design is had the ability to use the snowball sampling, which was what I used. So analysis of data, SPSS was used to analyze the data, and then my statistical procedures. My descriptive statistics was used to generate frequency distribution table, which I'm going to show later, and chi-square test was also used to determine whether there was an association between social anxiety and student performance on a live web class. So I also just wanted to confirm my report, so my results. So I used Pearson's correlation to determine whether there was a relationship between social anxiety and likelihood of taking a live synchronized class. So now I'm going to describe my statistics, description of survey respondents. So those who took the survey, all of you did take the survey, so this goes out to you. Have you ever enrolled in the live synchronized class? About 54.3 valid, are you the valid percentage? Valid percent of participants responded yes. So they said they have actually enrolled in live synchronous class, and there were 45.7 valid percent answered no. And then when we come to the social anxiety indicator or the questionnaire, something like that I already explained, I can feel conspicuous standing in a line. The 5-point scale, 1 to 5, with 1 indicating statement, it's not true of participants. So when you answer 1, it means that you don't feel conspicuous standing in a line. But if you answer 5, it means that it is characteristic of you. All right, so about 59.2 valid percent responded with 1 to the above social anxiety questionnaire. And then I have a breakdown there, about 20.6 were 2, and then 3, and then those who answered 14.7 were 5. Yeah, it means that it was the characteristic, the statement was not characteristic of them. Now, social anxiety was grouped into low, moderate, and high social anxiety when I used a chi-square. Valid percentage response was about 51.6 reported low social anxiety, and about 19.4 reported high social anxiety. So right there, you can deduce that the people who reported high social anxiety are way lower, about 1/3 of those who reported high social anxiety. I also did a cross-tabulation of grades, since the performance is going to be an indication of whether these students actually experience social anxiety or not. So the cross-tabulation of the grades earned in live online class using a child square were kind of A plus A minus B, and then we also had did not pass of 5.6%. But those who had A, surprisingly, were 44.4%. The result of the table of results, I used the chi-square test, and then you know that those who reported that they extremely, how likely are you to enroll in synchronous online class? That is a social anxiety cross-tabulation. Those who said they are unlikely to enroll in online class, they were about 16.7%. Now let us look at those who said they are likely that they want to enroll in online. They were about 26.7%. So people still love this online class, irrespective of all that is going on. Now let us come to the results of the child square test, and so let me go back a little bit. With this as from extremely unlikely to extremely likely, the result deduced that social anxiety has no effect on the likelihood of taking a synchronous class, because after all, those who said that they wanted to do online class, there were way more than those who said they did not want to do online class. And then if you answered yes to question 3, there was a place where we said when you get to question 3 and you have not taken a live synchronous class before, stop. Don't continue with the survey. And then if you have, you continue with the survey. You went to the survey, so you know what I'm talking about. So if you answered yes to 3, what grade did you earn in the class? And also you did the social anxiety, gotcha, and the chi-square cross-tabulation. And then if it ended out that actually those who had A were 44.4, those who did not pass were just 5.6%. So that also tells us that social anxiety has no effect on student performance in live synchronous online class. Now, this discussion, so my hypothesis was whether social online class or that online class had effect on social anxiety and whether it affects student performance. And then the chi-square results said there was no relationship between online class and social anxiety, and thus the limitations were kind of short period in data collection, and then the valid sample were too few. So we want to do next step is the main issue. The main issue with the study was the sample size. So in the next study, I will resend the survey. Hopefully, there will be more responses, and I will test my hypothesis, and then with the increased sample size to see if it will change the result. And this is my reference, and thank you for your time. I'll take questions. Thank you, Whitney.
Did you have any control groups in your study? And if you did, like, how would that have affected your results?
Do I have any control for the study?
Yeah, any control groups?
In actual fact, because we were working on people who have enrolled in online class compared to those who have not, the control was set as when you get to question number 3, you do not continue with the survey again, meaning that the overall end of 58 was going to be dropped by 38 people because they did not continue to the end of the survey. So they were not actually part of the main results. Thank you. Dr. John, okay.
Yes, thank you very much. So not necessarily a question, but just a quick comment. I just want to say congrats and good job to the best for the research and the work. I good job and good job to all of the presenters again. I think it's just amazing to see the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you. I'll take one more question, please. I don't hear you, please.
I said earlier, job. My question is, you're looking at like social anxiety and its other effects like online learning. Would you ever think to look at like other effects of anxiety to see if it's like stress-induced anxiety or like just different types of anxiety affect online learning, or like are you mainly focused on social anxiety, and if so, why?
All right. So for now, because of the COVID, the pandemic that we are in now, I'm actually concentrating on social anxiety connected with online. But once we do our next step, increasing sample size, then we might think about that. Thank you.
David, I appreciated your research project. I think you did a good job. Just to highlight you had a crosstab chi-square table that was most helpful for us to actually compare your data results. So I would certainly go for keeping that, but I'm also curious to see what's happening with the next steps, and even to take more to Whitney's point, like what is going to be our comparative case. We understand the impact of all of the students who are engaged in online learning as it relates to their outcomes and with social anxiety, but then what is the performance of students who are not engaged? Or what is the comparative case in that sense? Just to see the numbers. Honestly, I understand you're doing all the work as it relates to online learning, so just to see, well, when students are not online, then these are the outcomes as it relates to their grades. But good job overall.
Thank you. So you want me to go back to?
No, this was great. I enjoyed and appreciated this presentation. Yes.
All right.